Hello and good evening. You're watching Express News with me, Nancy Kohli. Let's begin with the top stories. Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy on Friday asserted he would not misuse the power to save his government as he spoke on the confidence motion moved by him in the Assembly to decide the fate of his government. Deepening the political crisis in Karnataka, the governor's 1:30 p.m. deadline on Friday for the Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy to prove his majority ended without the Assembly taking up the voting on the motion of confidence to decide the fate of his government. Karnataka Governor Vajubhai Vala again issued new deadline, sent letter to the Chief Minister to prove majority before 6 in the evening. The second deadline also ends. Karnataka Congress President Dinesh Gundu Rao moved Supreme Court seeking clarification on 17 July order which directed that the 15 rebel MLAs cannot be compelled to attend the Assembly. The petition alleged that Supreme Court order violates party's right under 10 schedule to issue whip to its MLAs. Three key bills were today introduced in the Lok Sabha. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman introduced the banning of unregulated deposit schemes Bill 2019. It provides for a comprehensive mechanism to ban the unregulated deposit schemes. Union Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawarchand Gehlot introduced the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Bill in the lower house of Parliament. Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office Dr. Jitendra Singh introduced the Right to Information Amendment Bill 2019 in the House. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan informed the Lok Sabha that the Ayushman Bharat scheme was implemented in West Bengal but the state government discontinued it in January this year due to political reasons. He said the centre has asked West Bengal government to implement the scheme again. Lok Sabha passes Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill 2019. None of the amendments suggested by the opposition were accepted by the House. In the Rajya Sabha, JDU MP Ramnath Thakur appealed to the central government to declare Bihar floods as a national calamity. Replying to this appeal, the Rajya Sabha chairperson Venkaiah Naidu said that there is no such provision like this. In Bihar, the flood situation in various parts of the state continues to be grim. The death toll has gone up to 78, 18 alone dead in Sitamarhi. As the water has begun receding from worst affected Sitamarhi district, the administration has begun sanitation drive in the flood-ravaged areas. Sprinkling of bleaching powder on the rubbles and the spray of insecticides is being made to check the spread of any possible epidemic. In Araria, the water levels are receding, prompting people to return to their houses, but the flood situation remains grim in other districts of North and East Bihar, including Madhubani. In Kishanganj, people continue to face hardships as flood water has left large areas inundated. This has severely affected mobility and locals are using boats to move around. 26 teams of the NDRF and the SDRF are engaged in relief and rescue operations across Bihar. More than 1,000 community kitchens are working to provide food to around 1.13 lakh people still staying in the relief camps. The state government has cancelled leaves of all the medical staff in the state and is dispatching medical teams to the flood-affected areas. The Met Department has issued a rain alert for 3 districts in Bihar. The alert has been issued for Sitamarhi, Shivhar and Muzaffarpur. According to the department, medium to heavy rain is expected in these districts in the next 3 to 4 hours with lightning. In Assam, the flood situation is improving gradually, but the Brahmaputra river is still flowing above the danger mark. Out of 30 flood-affected districts in Assam, situation is still grim in 28 districts where about 4,000 villages are reeling under water. The centre tells Supreme Court that illegal migrants will have to go back to their respective countries and it cannot allow India to become a refugee capital of the world. The centre and the Assam government sought from the Supreme Court extension of 31st July deadline for finalization of the NRC. The Indian Railways is to conduct largest recruitment drive for paramedical categories including staff nurse and dietitians beginning today. The computer-based test will be held for recruitment to 1923 posts from 19th to 21st July. This is the first recruitment by the railways in which reservation for the economically weaker section will be available to eligible candidates. Female candidates outnumber male candidates at 62%. More than 4 lakh candidates will be taking the test, which will be held in 345 centres in 107 cities across the country. In line with his emphasis of participative democracy, Prime Minister Modi has asked people of India to share inputs for his speech from the ramparts of the Red Fort on 15th August this year. Prime Minister Modi has asked people of India to share inputs on a specially created open forum on the Namo app. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar directed all the DTH and cable operators to broadcast all 24 channels of Doordarshan. While addressing the media, the minister said that all the operators are lawfully abide to run Doordarshan on their platforms. Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel Dharmendra Pradhan said that secure, efficient, affordable and sustainable energy will have to be ensured to fuel the $5 trillion economy. Delivering a keynote address at Energy Horizons 2019, a flagship event in New Delhi, he dwelt upon the trends that are crucial to India's energy transition. Madurai Corporation has decided to install the GPS system inside the water taxis to prevent the illegal sale of water under the city. The initiative has been taken after complaints from people about water being sold to private parties. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh to lay the wreath at Kargil War Memorial in Dras tomorrow on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of Operation Vijay against the intrusion of Houthis by militias as well as regular troops of Pakistan in Kargil sector in Jammu and Kashmir. The Raksha Mantri will also dedicate to the nation two bridges built by Border Roads Organization in Katwa district and Basantar in Samba district. 3 people were reportedly beaten to death by a mob in the Nandlal Tola in Chhapra, Bihar for allegedly stealing cattle. Mohammad Mansoor Khan, the owner of IMA Jewels, arrested in New Delhi by Enforcement Directorate, is currently in the joint custody of Special Investigation Team probing the case and the Enforcement Directorate. Mansoor Khan is accused of duping over 45,000 investors and has been on the run since 7th June this year. Benchmark indices ended at 2-month low. The BSE Sensex was down 560 points or 1.44% at 38,337. The Nifty plunged to 177 points or 1.5% to 11,419. About 3 shares declined for every share rising on the BSE. On the currency front, Indian rupee appreciated 5 paise to 68.92 against the US dollar. Global oil benchmark Brent crude futures soared 1.7% to 62.9 US dollars per barrel. The gold prices surged to record highs in Indian markets, reflecting a firming global trend. On the MCX, gold prices hit a new high after August contract surged 0.65% to 35,409 per 10 grams. In the global market, silver prices also showed a hardening trend, rising 0.5% to $16 per ounce, its highest since 25th June last year. Markets regulator Security and Exchange Board of India has proposed stricter norms to strengthen audit processes and curb abrupt resignations of auditors in the publicly traded companies. The resolution professional overseeing the insolvency process of Jet Airways has received claims worth 24,000 crore rupees but has admitted just about a third of it. The lenders had taken the company to the insolvency courts after a bidding process failed to finalize a suitor. Boeing is taking a $4.9 billion hit to cover the cost of the grounding of its 737 MAX aircraft after 2 deadly crashes. The charge is set to wipe out profits when the world's biggest plane maker posts quarterly results next week. European Commission has fined US chipmaker Qualcomm €242 million for predatory pricing. The European Commission found the chip giant's products at a price below cost to key customers with the intention of eliminating Isra, the main rival to Qualcomm's chipset business. President Donald Trump has said that the US Navy shot down an Iranian drone in the Strait of Hormuz. He said the USS Boxer amphibious assault ship took defensive action after the drone came within about 1,000 yards of the vessel. He also called on other countries to condemn Iran and protect their own ships. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif has denied US's claims. He said he is not aware of any downing of an Iranian drone in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has urged Europe to speed up efforts to salvage the 2015 nuclear deal. Speaking during a phone call with the French President Emmanuel Macron, the Iranian president said that Europe must accelerate its efforts to realize Iran's legitimate interests and bring about a ceasefire in Washington's economic war against Iran. The US has slapped sanctions against 12 individuals and entities linked to the Iran's nuclear enrichment program. Based in Iran, Belgium and China, these entities and individuals are linked to the nuclear proliferation sensitive activities of the Iran Centrifuge Technology Company. In addition to the US's move, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that the sanctioned persons and entities will be denied access to the country's financial system and listed online as weapons of mass destruction proliferators. According to Pompeo, there is no credible reason for Iran to expand its nuclear program at this time other than as a transparent attempt to extort the international community. China reacts to US sanctions on Iran, urges Washington to correct sanctions imposed on Chinese companies accused of helping Iran acquire material for its nuclear program. A Chinese government spokesperson said that the US pressure on Iran and its long-arm jurisdiction against companies in the third countries is the root cause of tension with Tehran. Ahead of Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's visit to the US, a congressional report has said that the security assistance to Pakistan would remain suspended pending decisive and irreversible action against the terror groups. The Independent Congressional Research Service said in the latest report on Pakistan that Pakistan is a haven for numerous extremist and terror groups, and successive Pakistani governments are widely believed to have tolerated and even supported some of these. United States President Donald Trump said that the US is not looking at any sanctions on Turkey after its purchase of Russian air defense system, a day after the White House said the move made Ankara's presence in the F-35 program impossible. Chinese Vice Premier Liu He held a telephone conversation with the US Trade Representative and the Treasury Secretary at the request of the US's side, China has claimed. The Chinese Minister of Commerce Zhong Shan also joined the conversation, the Chinese government said. Bangladesh and China are looking to jointly investigate the extremely low level of fund disbursal for the ongoing 27 Chinese projects in Bangladesh. China has so far disbursed less than 5% of the promised $20 billion for which agreements were signed during President Xi Jinping's Dhaka visit in 2016. The committee will include officials from Bangladesh's Economic Relations Division and China's Commerce Ministry. The Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Kono summoned South Korea's ambassador to Japan, Nam Gyeong-po, a day after a midnight deadline set by Japan for South Korea to accept third country arbitration of the forced labor dispute passed. Responding to Japan's proposal for third-party arbitration, the South Korea's Deputy National Security Advisor Kim Hyung-chong has said that Japan's unilateral export restrictions against South Korea violates the international trade law. He said Japan's proposal for third-party arbitration will only worsen future ties. A 78-year-old South Korean man set himself on fire early morning in front of the Japanese embassy in Seoul in an apparent protest against export restrictions imposed by Japan. The man later died at a hospital. The World Food Programme has reached an agreement in principle with Yemen's Houthi rebels to resume food aid to areas they control. The World Food Programme chief told the UNSC that the new agreement with the Houthis will allow food to be quickly delivered to the rebel-held capital Sana'a, though the two sides are yet to ink the deal. Argentina has designated Lebanon's Hezbollah movement as a terror organization and frozen its assets. It accuses the group of being behind two attacks on its soil. Hezbollah is also designated by the US, the UK, Israel and several Gulf Arab states, but Argentina is the first country in Latin America to do so. Australian Foreign Minister has condemned China for the detention of Chinese-Australian writer Yang Hengjong. Pine said that Australian government is deeply disappointed by the writer's detention and expressed concerns regarding the conditions under which Yang is being held. He also said that they were informed on Friday that Yang had been transferred to criminal detention. In retaliation, the Chinese Foreign Ministry urged Australia to not interfere in Beijing's legal handling of the detention of the Chinese-Australian writer Yang Hengjong. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson said that Yang was suspected of criminal activity endangering state security. The Dutch Supreme Court has upheld a ruling that the Netherlands was partially responsible for 350 deaths in Bosnia's massacre. The court said the state had 10% liability, as this was the probability that its soldiers could have prevented the killings. A day after a suspected arson attack at Japan's Kyoto animation studio killed 33 people, police investigators searched the smoldering shell of the building for clues in an investigation which covered suspected arson, murder and attempted murder. A 41-year-old man, Shinji Aoba, is suspected of dousing the building with fuel and set it ablaze. The local residents, including the families of the victims, visited the site of burnt Kyoto Animation Studio to mourn the victims of Japan's worst mass killing in 2 decades. The suspected arson fire in the studio killed 33 people and left several injured. At least 8 people were killed while 33 others were injured in an explosion near a gate to the campus of Kabul University in the Afghan capital. The victims mostly include students who were waiting outside to take an examination, the official said. A suspected gas explosion in a house in New Zealand's Christchurch has left several people injured. The fire and emergency services evacuated residents to safer places. According to police, there was no indication that the explosion had any wider security implications. PV Sindhu wins quarter-final of Indonesia Open Badminton Tournament against Japanese driver Nozomi Okuhara by 21-14, 21-7. In shooting, extending India's domination at the ISSF Junior World Cup, Sarabjot Singh shot a 239.6 to bag the men's 10-meter air pistol gold. This is India's 9th yellow medal at the event in Germany. At the ISSF Junior World Cup, India remained on top of the medal standings with 9 gold, 9 silver and 4 bronze for a total of 22 medals. China, who's giving India a stiff fight, is lying second. Master blaster Sachin Tendulkar becomes the latest cricketer to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame. With this, he has become 6th Indian to be bestowed the recognition. The BCCI will be using limited DRS during Ranji Trophy knockout matches from this season to avoid howlers. Restricted version of the DRS will not have Hawkeye and Ultra Edge, which are the key elements of the system in international cricket. BCCI selection committee meeting to pick Indian squad for West Indies tour has been postponed following committee of the administrators' directive that the chairman of the panel instead of the secretary will convene it. Cricket Australia supported International Cricket Council's decision to introduce concussion substitutes across all the formats in international cricket ahead of the men's Ashes series beginning on the 1st of August in the UK. England's all-rounder Ben Stokes is nominated for New Zealander of the Year award. Born in New Zealand, Ben Stokes played a crucial role in England's World Cup victory. South African batsman A.B. de Villiers made an impressive debut in England's domestic T20 competition, Vitality Blast, as he played a match-winning knock of 88 runs for Middlesex. This enabled team to register an easy win by 7 wickets. Australian Fitzpatrick becomes 8th woman to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame. She was pivotal in Australia's triumph in the 2 ICC Women World Cups. Hrithik Roshan's latest outing, Super 30, continues its winning streak at the box office and has crossed 75 crore rupee mark in just 7 days of its run. And calling the film an inspiration, an excellent example of determination, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot announced that Super 30 will be made tax-free in the state. Anand Kumar, the man behind the story of Super 30, met the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and requested him to declare the film tax-free in the state. Shahid Kapoor and Kiara Advani star Kabir Singh grosses 350 crore rupees in 25 days. The movie becomes the first film to cross 350 crore mark worldwide this year. Saho film, which was going to hit big screens on this Independence Day, has now shifted its release date to 30th August to avoid the clash with Mission Mangal and Batla House. HBO's 4-hour controversial film on Michael Jackson Leaving Neverland earned a total of the 5 Emmy Award nominations. The film debuted in January at the Sundance Film Festival, where Jackson's estate criticized the film. The trailer of the highly anticipated Top Gun Maverick is out and it teases actor Tom Cruise's return to his fan-favorite role as a fighter pilot. Actor Edward Furlong is all set to play John Connor in the upcoming Terminator Dark Fate, while this is going to mark his return to the role for the first time since 1991's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. At the 2019 Teen Choice Awards in August, Jonas brothers Nick Jonas and Kevin are all set to be honored with the Decade Award, which will celebrate group's evolution over the past 10 years. The styled in movie version of its stage musical Cats released its first trailer, which racked up more than 1 lakh views in the first hour, and Cats hashtag quickly became the top trending item on Twitter. Grammy Award winner Beyoncé released music video for new song Spirit as part of the soundtrack for her new album. After split from the Royal Foundation, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced their new foundation, which will be called Sussex Royal, the foundation of the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex. An exhibition dedicated to Queen Victoria uses cutting-edge technology to recreate Buckingham Palace as it was during the 19th century. It also features her throne, ball gown and watercolor paintings. 4 of London's bridges were lit up as part of a new art installation called Illuminated River. The eventual aim is to light up 15 bridges that cross the River Thames in central London. Danish toy maker Lego has built a 6-foot, 3-inch astronaut model wearing the same spacesuit worn during the moon mission to mark the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission launch. French shepherds led their woolly herd of 25 hungry sheep near the Eiffel Tower after 2 weeks of wandering around the Paris region in the search of grassy areas. 45th Wuhan Yangtze River Crossing Festival, held in central China's Hubei province, attracted over 2,000 swimmers from home and abroad. The activity was divided into a single race for professionals and a group racer for amateurs. Royal officials clad in scarlet outfits took to River Thames in traditional boats for annual swan upping ceremony, a 800-year-old tradition of the counting of swans owned by Britain's Queen Elizabeth. China's male panda Jiao King celebrates 9th birthday at a zoo in Berlin. It's all part of a captive breeding program to help save species from extinction. China currently has pandas on loan to 26 zoos in 18 countries. The trailer of the supernatural horror film IT Chapter 2 is out and will release on 6 September this year. Matt Damon is set to star in Spotlight Helmer, Tom McCarthy's new directorial venture Stillwater. The participant media feature will be Damon's next project post Ford vs Ferrari. Elvis biopic to star Austin Butler and Tom Hanks, directed by Baz Luhrmann Butler, would play the king of rock and roll, while Hanks will play Presley's manager, Tom Parker. The Warner Brothers film is expected to start production in 2020 to fit in with Tom Hanks' schedule, according to Variety magazine. The makers of Mission Mangal dropped its trailer when Akshay Kumar is seen demonstrating a basic technique of making puris, using which he wishes to launch the aircraft. The much-awaited Hindi version of Disney's upcoming live-action film The Lion King is all set to release in the UAE today, while Bollywood's King Khan, Shah Rukh Khan and his son Aryan have lent their voices for King Mufasa and his son Simba. And that's all we have for you in this edition of the news, but for all the latest news and updates around